What is going on, guys? JT43 here. In this video, I'm going to be doing some painting to my 2011 Scion TC. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I just think that painting this type of thing will kind of make the car look a little bit better and less showing of its age, I guess. So I'm just going to jump right into it. So the things that I want to paint, the first one up is my rear spats. So I don't remember exactly when I got these. It wasn't too long ago, maybe a year ago. And they've already started to sun fade. Like you can see they have like this crisp color on them. They used to be like straight black like the 3D printed RC spats over there. So they used to be like flat black, but now they're like this bleached like gray color, and it's the same thing on the other side too. And so that was the main thing that I wanted to paint, because the 3D printed is always going to stay like that. It's not going to sun bleach. So that was the first thing I wanted to paint. I started thinking, because someone very close to me got a new car, and I was taking a look at their front, and I just noticed how much cleaner their front end looks. What I mean by that is I'm also considering painting the front lower grille here, the upper grille, and also the fog light housings. And so I'll show you the color in a minute, because the color is actually it's very relevant to the brand. But yeah, I don't know, I was thinking about just painting, because originally, like I said, I was just gonna do the rear spats, but then I started looking around. I'm like, I could probably paint that too, and it'll probably look a lot better. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing rear spats, the upper grille, the lower grille, and the two fog light housings. Enough talk about that. Let me go show you exactly what I'm going to be painting with. So now, first of all, don't mind the mess. We're currently putting the Jeep back together. If you follow my channel, I briefly spoke about how we're frame swapping this, which I should have filmed it, but it's a lot of work, bro. Back to this. Obviously, I'm not sponsored by any means, but we're going to be using just some basic primer, some Rust-Oleum 2X Ultra cover, whatever. And then for a clear coat, we're going to be using this gloss clear instead of a satin. It's very important that you make sure that the top can looks like shiny if you want a very shiny finish. If it looks dull, or it looks like a matte clear finish, that's going to be satin. And it also says it right here, gloss clear. I made that mistake in the past with my mini bikes. I just figured it's clear coat, they're all going to be shiny. That's not really the case. But what's interesting is the paint I'm going to be using for the actual stuff. This is off of Amazon. It's called Scratches Happen. I used some of their touch-up paint for the Lexus and the Scion, and it's actually pretty good. I'm going to be painting it pearl black from the first gen Scion TC. I'll pop a picture up right here. It's pretty much like you have the black, which has no pearlescent, and then you have pearl black, which has the pearlescent in it. So the reason why I wanted some pearlescent is because, or the flake, pretty much flake. When I look at a flat black, like a lot of these newer cars, like the newer BMWs, the newer Kias, they have a flat black look to them, which looks fine, but I think a little bit of that flake in there, I think it will look a little bit better. So I don't know if you can see the flake in here, but it has a little bit of flake. I am going to be attempting to paint this myself, if you haven't noticed already. I've painted in the past. I'm going to really try and do it correct this time. 3 coats of everything. Enough talking about paint. If you want to pick some of this up for yourself, I'll leave a link in the description down below. Once again, it's pearl black, so it's a black with pearlescent. It's not a flat black. But anyway, let's get started on removing some of the parts on the Scion. So now, to get to the grille and the fog light housings, the front bumper has to come off. That's just kind of how it goes. But before I do that, I'd really like to get these spats off. So I'm going to take off my lower spats first. All right, so now I'm under the car. You can see multiple screws here. So I'll just grab my Craftsman drill here, and I'll just start taking them out. All right, so that's one spat, and you can really see that sun fade, and this is gonna need to be clean because we don't want to paint over any of that. We mainly just want this part painted, but I'm still gonna paint the whole thing just to, you know, have no cracks or peels. But all of this is gonna have to get cleaned up, but we'll do that later. Let me go ahead and do the other side real quick. All right, so we have both of the spats off, so now we're gonna have to go ahead and clean them and then go ahead and sand them. Here we have our spat, and we gotta clean it up. So I'll just take a rag first and just start wiping off all this dirty shit, you know, that accumulates while it just sits in there. I do recommend using alcohol for cleaning, but I don't have any alcohol on hand, so I'm a little unprepared, but that's all right. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty all right. Underneath is fine. I mean, I don't really care about the bottom. It's really just the top. Because once again, once I sand it, a lot of this shit on the surface will sand off. But That looks all right. What I have here next is some sandpaper from Gator. I believe I got this off of Amazon. And so we're just gonna be doing a little bit of sanding, especially on this area. This is the most important area right here. So I'm just gonna go ahead. So that's gonna be all right for the sanding part. I got a lot of the dents down, or bumps. I keep calling them dents, they're bumps. I got a lot of bumps down. So now it's really flush here. So I think, yeah, with the clear coat, because when you look at clear coat from like an angle, you can see the bumps and stuff. And even though it's not perfect, I still wanted to try and make it better. Like right here, like that. You see that right there? Like, we're trying to get that out. All right, yeah, that looks good. Like I said, I don't have any alcohol. But what I could do is just, I guess, just wipe it down with this rag. I mean, there's nothing really on there, but could just wipe it off. All right, so now that we have this like that, we can start painting. So let me clear some of this shit out of the way, and then we'll start with the primer on this guy. So we'll start with the first coat. So we'll just kind of, now the first coat, you know, you want to follow a specific pattern, and you want it to be light for the first one. So that's what I'm gonna try and do. I'm gonna try and make it a light coat. Even though it looks heavy, and this thing, well, it does say 2 times more, but I do wanna retain somewhat of a light coat, because I want this thing to be able to like hold up. Like, I want this thing to be able to like last like multiple winters and summers, like, and the rock chips too. That was one of my biggest things, was the rock chips. That's what happened on my front lip, which we'll fix it. Eventually we'll fix it, but for now, I don't think we're gonna do anything about it. And we'll just hit some of the spots that are missed. We'll kind of let this guy dry, and then we'll turn it over, and we'll get that second coat on there. All right, so the way that this is sitting right now, I don't think I'm gonna give it another coat of primer. It's giving kind of that glossy baked look, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and just leave this the way it is. But while that's drying, we're gonna go ahead and move over to this one over here. So I'm gonna do the same thing, where I pretty much take it and I clean it. All right, and so now that this one's all sanded up, and it's been sanded and cleaned down and stuff, we're gonna go ahead and spray this guy with primer as well. All right, so this one looks done, but I'm gonna hold off on painting this one until this one is dry, just to eliminate any overspray getting on this one while it's drying. So I'll wait for that to dry, and then we'll start to paint this one. All right, so now that this one is dry, let's go ahead and start painting this one. So I'm gonna start off light, or at least try to start off light, because I don't know how this can is gonna spray. Let's just kind of, oh, so it paints wide. Okay, hold on a second. All right, now I can start painting. It's a little difficult because it sprays in such a wide pattern that it's hard to get that first coat on, but I am trying. I'll leave it at that for now. Dry, then we'll hit another coat. Also, I have a mask on, so I sound a little bit funny, but all right, we're gonna go for that second coat, and this time we're gonna try and coat the whole thing, because there's some parts that I missed. Well, they're coated, just not like, you know, evenly. So we're gonna start over here. All right, there we go. That is a lot better. We'll go ahead and let that sit, and then we'll determine if it needs another coat or if I'm good to clear coat after that. All right, so the piece right now is actually looking really good. So you can get a little bit more of that flake in there. Now, obviously, when we put the clear coat on, it'll look a lot better, but this is looking really good. But I think just for safekeeping, because I'll show you something actually. So this is why I'm pretty adamant about, you know, putting multiple coats. And it's because I got this done at a shop, and I'll show you. It hasn't even been a year yet. I'll show you what's been going on. So this right here, this is all flaking. I painted, this is my replica RS lip. I made a video on it if you want to check it out. It's a really good looking lip, but I had this painted and it's already chipping. So I don't think they used any primer. I don't know if they used how many coats they put. But one thing that's interesting is look at this clear coat drip here. Now that's like dried. So they did use clear coat obviously to make it all nice and shiny, but like that's just the thing, bro. Like you know, you get shit paid for. You know, they probably see this young ass kid, you know, pulling in, and they're like, oh, we could probably just do shitty work and I'll still pay full price. And it's like, well, I came to your place because I thought you did good work, you know? But that's not normal either, because for those of you that are gonna say, you know, oh, rock chips, like rock chips, brother, that's like pure lack of paint. Rock chips are more like, they don't really spread crazy like that if it's like well done paint, you know? Like if anything, it would have to be a big ass rock causing that, and it's in multiple different spots. So I know they just cheaped out, but anyway, that's why I'm so adamant about multiple coats. So I think I'm gonna do one last coat, and then after that we're gonna do some clear coat. All right, so that's the final coat that I'm gonna do for this one. I'm gonna set this guy over there, and then I'm gonna bring the one that's over here onto the table, and we're gonna start painting that one. All right, so I have the second piece here. We're literally just gonna go and start spraying it up. All right, so now that 3 coats are on and it's looking really good, we're gonna clear coat this hoe. So once again, I'm using a gloss clear. I'm probably gonna do 3 coats of this as well, just to once again like protect the paint, you know. But let's start with a light coat. All right, so that was a little bit of a heavier coat than I wanted, but we're gonna let that sit, and then we'll come back and do a second coat. All right, so now that's looking all dry, we'll go ahead and we'll hit it with another coat. All right, so now that last coat dried, or that second coat dried, let's go ahead and give it another spray. So now that it has its last coat on it, we can move that away so it dries, and then we can start working on the other one. So while that other one is drying, let's go ahead and hit its first coat of clear coat. Right over here, actually. I think this is a better spot. All right, so that's all it gets for now. I'm gonna let this sit for like a long time now, and then we'll come back, give it another coat. All right, so for purposes of this being a shorter video, I went ahead and just took the pieces out of the front bumper. Now I'm gonna be painting the front grille and the upper grille, like I said. So I got it hanging from here, and I'm just gonna do a time lapse of me pretty much just painting this thing. It's already prepared, ready for paint. Now I just have to paint the thing. All right, so as we can see here, we have the 2 parts hanging. This is gonna require less effort because getting some of these angles are pretty hard, but as long as I got the good angles, like what I'm pretty much trying to hit is these 2 right here. And then with this piece over here, it's pretty much just one big panel to hit. So that's pretty easy. We're probably gonna do the second coat of this one in a little bit. I'm just letting those dry. The other 2 pieces are also drying. I'm waiting a while because I don't need to find out that like one little rock and this thing is already falling apart. You know, I didn't just do all this work just for these to like last a week, 2 weeks maybe. Like that's not happening. So definitely a patient process. Just definitely take your time. But the rest of this video is going to be all time lapse, and we'll see what it looks like when it's back on the car. So this spat has been sitting for a while. You can really see that pearlescent, that flake. It makes it look nice. It makes it look almost like premium, if you will. I think it looks better than a flat black, but this is gonna go on later. It's not gonna go on right now because it's still drying, but look at that flake, bro. Look at that. Oof. It looks really good, but I'm gonna let it keep drying. All right, so I just got the fog light housings back from paint, and look at that nice pearlescent shine. Look at all that. All right, so I didn't record putting them back on, but I'll show everything in this clip. So here are the spats. You can really see that. I can really see that flake in there now. Especially when I want to record, the sun wants to go away, but in the sun they look beautiful. You can see them. You see the flake in there, but when the sun hits it, it's a lot better. So I think it looks better than a jet black. Here's the other side. It turned out really well. It's way better than that sun fade color, so I'm really happy with that. And then over here we have the front grille, the front upper grille here. Once again, in the sun, without the sun, it looks jet black. So yeah, it's the sun needs to come out, so just give me 1 second.